say.
Can you guys all say Team Say on 3? 1, 2, 3. Team
Hi, I'm Marianne. Welcome to Teen Say. Today we have Ed Weiner with us for the attorney journey. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh, it's my pleasure to be here.
So this is a great guy. I met him a long time ago, and boy, oh boy, does he have an education for you. So one, the attorney journey. So they say, oh my gosh, I can't push a button. I actually have to go to law school.
Going to law school, and it is a long journey, and it is a hard journey. It has to be hard because the legal profession it's not a job. It has to be a calling, and it has to be hard because as a lawyer, you have rights and privileges in our society that other people just do not have. As a lawyer, you can speak for another person. It's the only profession where you have that right to do that. As a lawyer, you are trusted with people's lives, their money.
How do they know though? Ed? How do they know that? Like, how do they say, I would be a great attorney? Like, is it because they are great on the debate team? Because they're great in business? I mean, how do they know that they have what it takes?
Well, first of all, it takes passion. Because law school is that hard, you have to be passionate about it. And I think it could be if you know you're doing good and on a track, but you have to have that drive. So
3 years of law school.
It's 4 years of college and then 3 of law school. The other thing that I found so attractive about law school is that it covers everything. Think about it. In our world, if you are an artist, you need a lawyer. You're going to need a lawyer to negotiate your shows, your contracts. If you are an engineer, certainly there are lawyers who specialize in entertainment law. There are lawyers who do nothing but zoning cases, so engineers need them. We want to build a road. The very first thing you need to build a road is a lawyer, because you're going to have to negotiate the land contracts and the easements and the environmental studies. If you want to go into science, environmental patents, lawyers do nothing but scientific patents. So it touches every human relationship, every business, every profession, and that was a huge draw. I happen to be, I like to call myself a trial attorney, but that is such a small fraction of practicing attorneys out there. Most attorneys never go to a courthouse. They're doing their good with contract law, in business law, pharmacy, medicine, all have lawyers working with compliance. Right now, big thing is in discrimination cases, job discrimination, age discrimination, gender discrimination. These are lawyers on the front line. And what are they all doing? Protecting people. And that was the big draw to me. If you see yourself as a person who wants to
speak up for the underdog,
take up for the underdog. Absolutely. And that is what I love about my job. I represent individual people going against major international insurance companies. And it's daunting, it's challenging, and I think it's the challenge that really gets my blood going, but that's not the case for all lawyers, and you can do a lot of good without being a litigator.
So tell us how your journey went. Did you go straight from your bachelor's degree to law school?
I did. I knew at a very young age that I wanted to be a lawyer.
I was going to ask you that.
And I set my sights on
Was
that.
it a TV show?
I'm the youngest of three brothers, so I got to see them before me, and as it worked out, both my brothers were lawyers as well.
Ah.
But the law...
Your father too?
No.
Oh, okay.
My dad struggled through a number of businesses. Money was always an issue for us growing up.
Uh-huh.
So I saw my father always was employed, but always had bosses. And I knew at a young age that I truly didn't want to work for someone in the sense of having a boss. But I very much wanted to work for people in doing good. And I saw law as the way to do that.
And you really have, and we're going to get into that right into.
Thank you.
This is Chance right here.
Chance.
And Chance is part of Ed Weiner's
He is.
office staff because he relaxes you when you come in, right? And he's very friendly. He greets you. Chance, you gonna get up?
So,
Hi. So, yes. And we met you. We brought a girl to him that was, I'll never forget it, that was afraid to come to a lawyer's office. And she walked in and she met you. She met Chance. And before you knew it, she was on the ground playing with Chance and she was listening to you. So not all lawyers, not all personal injury lawyers are the same. I do have to get there and say that. But then I'll let you finish your journey.
well, Aaron, that raises a good point. Because I came from a family, both my brothers were lawyers, I had uncles, cousins who were lawyers, I understood that the legal profession was open to me. So in that sense, even though money was not available in my youth, I was privileged in knowing that I could do anything I chose to do. And I knew I wanted to help people, and law was that opportunity. And if there was one big message I would like to get out to all of the students in Fairfax County, is that the legal profession is open to everyone. And I have now encountered families. I remember speaking to some parents, and the child was just off in the corner staring at me. And after maybe a half hour, I think the mother sensed that I was uncomfortable because this child was just staring at me. And I said, is everything okay? She goes, yes, everything's fine, but you have to understand, he's never seen a real lawyer before. It's only been on television. And that was really eye-opening to me. I didn't really understand that lawyers are not in every family.
You're helping them with their honest to goodness injury. And where they're helpless, they don't know what to do with these medical bills and so forth. And so it brings me to the fact that you go to the scenes to see what's happened?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You touch on a few points.
Okay.
One about knowledge is power. And very, very often I will have an appointment with someone, and even if I don't take their case, people can't possibly know what is all involved in the simple car accident case. Mm-hmm. It's not something people deal with in their life. Look, so I have 2 law degrees. One is in international law. So I did a comparative study. So I went, after the 3 years of law school, I went for another 3 years to get another doctorate degree.
Oh my goodness.
And what I will tell you is there's no question in my mind that the United States of America has the best legal system on the planet. It's
That's
a
nice
great...
to hear, because you always hear people putting it down.
Oh no, we have a great legal system. But it is very complicated. And one of the things I tell people is sometimes being an intelligent person actually works against you, because there are many things in our legal system which at first blush are illogical. It doesn't make sense to an intelligent person until I explain to them why it's that way. Then they get it. So there are a lot of people who come to me with perfectly valid claims. They are absolutely entitled to be compensated. But it's not, the case isn't financially viable to get an attorney involved. But if I just spend 1 hour with these people and I kind of tell them, look, this is the shape of the playing field, this is inbounds, this is out of bounds, this is what you need to accomplish, and here are the steps you have to take, they can handle it on their own. But if they just charged off and doing it on their own, it would not go well over a simple technicality. We all hear about loopholes, technicalities in law, and it's true. So oftentimes I will work with people and just to educate them in 1 hour. Now they know what they're dealing with, and I invite them to get back to me if they have a question, but go handle your case on your own. You don't need to bring in a law firm because that costs money. So,
And you do that for you.
oh, I do that many times a week. Absolutely. People just need a little direction, a little help. They don't even know the right questions to ask. I mean, I grew up in the era of Perry Mason.
Right.
So he always saved the day at the last moment. The doors would fly open with that surprise witness, and the good guy has always won. And I was a big Perry Mason fan. But I kind of put blinders on. And because I knew from a young age that's what I wanted to do, so I knew I had to do well in school, and I did. And I graduated high school early, and I was accepted to college, a community college, without ever going to my senior year of high school.
Wow.
Then I would go through the summers, got through college early, and then even during law school they offered a summer semester, so I got through law school in 2.5 years rather than 3. So when I passed the bar exam in Virginia, I was a fully licensed Virginia attorney right before my 23rd birthday.
No way.
And I was that year the youngest attorney in the state. Now, I am not suggesting that for everybody because I do feel I was so driven and had those blinders on. I did probably miss some of the fun things.
I don't know, did you play ice hockey back then?
I was doing a lot of skiing. I skied on
Okay,
my college
so
ski
come on.
team. But
So you didn't miss
there were
anything?
probably some, I was just convinced that life would begin once I was a lawyer and that everything else didn't really count until I was a lawyer.
Well, my oldest child who went to UVA said there's nothing wrong with people being driven. That's what he told me one day, and that's what he told his siblings that said, you study too hard. You don't have enough fun. He said, well, I will.
The fun
And I will
come.
have the money for a lot of fun.
And that's really a thing. So I'm very proud. I have a daughter who's in law school now.
Awesome.
But she did take that gap year that people take, we hear referred to now, between college and starting law school, and she worked in a Commonwealth Attorney's office. And I think that was a very enriching experience. And anyone who looks into the incoming classes of any law school will see that the average age of a first-year law student is probably, I'm guessing, 25, 26. So a lot of people do something and then are ready to commit to law school. It is a commitment. It is hard. It is not something to be, well, I'll try it willy-nilly.
Yeah.
You can't go in and say, I don't want to get my hair wet. You're either in the swimming pool or you're out.
Yeah.
So, but it is a fascinating, and I will tell you.
I don't know, I find that stopping, I mean, I guess if you're gonna break up the journey and have your steps written and really stick to that plan, that game plan, that you are gonna go to law school, because otherwise you can get detoured with marriage and kids and this and that, and never go to law school. So I think you have a better shot going straight through.
I thought that.
Yeah.
I had an experience. I went with a group, a professional group, on a tour. We went to the Holy Land. We went to Israel.
Wow.
And I was amazed. There's a very highly prestigious professional university there. you cannot be admitted unless you're married. And I was indignant. At the time, I was a single man. I was 26, 27. I said, that is the most ridiculous thing. Because I was single, I didn't have the distractions of a wife and kids. I'm a better candidate for this school. And they told me, no, it's not that way. You have to have those things resolved in your life. Then you can concentrate. Because otherwise, you have to be thinking about finding a spouse, finding a mate, and you're distracted.
Wow.
That's their theory on it. But I do think, coming back to the journey, when I first started practicing law, I was so young, I barely shaved, and I looked, I was just about to be 23, I looked 18. And people were off put. You're my lawyer. You look like you're younger than my kid brother. And all I could get for clients were court-appointed cases. Back then, Virginia did not have a public defender's office. So people who were indigent, who could not afford attorneys, were assigned lawyers who would sign up to do cases. And I remember it well. You would do an entire representation of someone, no matter how many court appearances it was, how many witnesses, $75. That's what I got paid.
Oh,
And it was a
gosh.
great learning experience.
Wow.
I was in court a lot, and I started with those criminal cases. I did it for a number of years, and it's very exciting being a criminal defense lawyer. It's fast, and let's face it, the stakes are high. We're not talking about, well, someone's going to get a little bit of money, someone's going to pay some money, someone's going to get to build a house, someone won't get, they'll have to build it somewhere. This is, you're going to be free or you're going to be in jail. There's nothing more serious than that, nothing more emotional than that.
Right.
I did that for a number of years, and the combination of things came together in my life. My middle brother, who was my law partner, had an opportunity to go back to teaching public school. And he's kind of my hero, and if we're on a public school channel here, he left being a lawyer and cut his income by 2/3 to return to the public school system and taught 4th graders.
Oh.
5th, and they kept trying to put him into an administrative position, assistant principal or principal.
Right.
He said, I don't want to be in an office. I want to be in the classroom with the kids. He left the law practice
Wow.
and told me I was now doing personal injury work because I had to take over his cases, which I really did not want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I quickly came to love it because these are good, in the past, the most hurtful thing, and I have the newspaper article hanging in my hallway here. I represented a young fella who was a rising star. Everyone thought he had a huge career in the NFL. He was a star high school quarterback. He got busted for some drugs. I represented him, and through a technicality of the law, I got him off. Totally off. I mean, morally, he was guilty, but legally, the government didn't have a proper case. 2 years later, I'm in the courthouse, and I see this individual. I said, hey, how you doing? He looked at me, he said, you are the last person I wanted to see. I said, what's going on? He goes, Mr. Weiner, I'm in trouble again. And I was dumbfounded. I thought I was this man's hero. I got him off of something he was guilty of. I said, how could you not call me? How could you hire another lawyer? He says, I was too embarrassed to call you. You worked so hard for me. You got me a second chance, and I blew that second chance. I couldn't face you.
Aww.
I got that. But there's something very satisfying. I get to represent good, honest, hardworking people who did nothing wrong, who are the victim of someone else's doing something wrong. And that's a really good feeling, and I find that very gratifying. And I realized maybe that's my niche. Not so much giving my heart and soul to people who are not the finest people, someone I wouldn't want to be left alone in a room with my children or my mother, but rather I'm going to work for really fine people who need the help, who did nothing wrong. But there are so many areas of law.
And about the journey, they could start out
Yes,
as a
they could,
paralegal, working for lawyers. They could
In
get
one
a
area of law,
two-year degree, right? From Nova.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I also, in my younger career, did many divorce cases, and frankly, didn't have the stomach for that. I didn't. I couldn't get into fighting two people who
Loved each
obviously
other at
once
one
loved
time.
each other at some
Yeah.
time, had a family together, and now they are worst enemies, and the emotion and law goes out the window. It's all emotion.
Chance doesn't want to hear all that yelling either, right? Chance?
That's,
Are you
that's,
sleeping?
that's not for me. Something maybe people don't know this, but to have the license to practice law, the actual license says attorney and counselor at law. And I take that counselor part really seriously. Attorneys do have a huge impact on people's lives. And if you're considering a career in law school, you have to know that you do have that impact on people's lives. And it's not a job. You're not an attorney from 9 to 5 and off on weekends. If you're an attorney 24/7, 360. You are an attorney for life. And anyone considering going to law school, I hope they understand that. I really hope they understand that. We all hear, it's kind of comical, but if there's an accident on a boat, in a movie, someone might yell out, "Is there a doctor in the house?" No doctor would say, "Oh, yeah, I'm a doctor, but I'm not on duty right now." It's not that way. You help where the help is needed. And it is a place in society, and people see that, whether you're shopping, whether you're at a children's sporting event. I mean, it would be terrible for a lawyer to do something untoward at a children's football game or soccer game, to get out of hand and unruly. You're a lawyer. You're not supposed to act that way. I think, rightfully so, society does expect more of us. And if you're not ready to step up and take that responsibility, do something else.
Right.
But if you are ready, it is a wonderful, wonderful life, because, look, I like driving a nice car and living in a nice home. There is no question being an attorney can have its financial rewards. But the bigger thing is, by being an attorney, you can do well by doing good. And that is the sweet spot for me. When you can do well by doing good, that puts it all together. That is the perfect harmony.
Yeah.
So,
And you are also the former president of,
Yes.
president of several things.
I have been fortunate. My colleagues, I was first president of our local county bar, Fairfax County. I was then president of our Fairfax County Bar Association as a philanthropic group, the Fairfax Law Foundation. I headed that. And then I went on, it was a great honor to be the president of all the lawyers in Virginia, the Fairfax State Bar. And that opened up a world to me, because, we all think everybody does what we do. So I thought, all attorneys go to court on a regular basis. There are attorneys who do so many wonderful things who have never been to a courthouse. And it was very eye-opening. I had the opportunity to go to every law school in Virginia and meet with first-year law students and speak with them, represent Virginia to the American Bar Association.
What'd you tell the first-year law students?
I told the first-year law students a couple of things. I told them that if they are sitting in those chairs in law school and got admitted to law school, we know one thing for sure. They have been told, probably since 5th or 6th grade, you are really smart. But look around. In this room, everybody's really smart. So get off it. You're not all that smart. The next thing, I begged them, I said, if you are going to law school as a way to make money and get rich, you got to get out. You got to get out right now because you're going to do damage. Lawyers are entrusted as, the word is a fiduciary. We are entrusted with people's money and decision making. And if you let your own potential for making money factor into it, you are doomed. And you're going to hurt your client. You may end up in jail. There are much easier ways to make money than becoming a lawyer. Certainly it can be a very good, comfortable living, but it is not the reason to go to law school to get rich. So that's one of the first things I told every law student I got to talk to is this is not to make money. If that's what you're about, you gotta get out. Please leave.
Exactly, and it's passion. I mean, doctors want to help people,
Hear,
lawyers
hear.
want to help people, artists,
Hear.
you know, and it has to be something they're passionate about
It's
because,
true.
and then they say that if you follow your passion, you never work a day in your life.
That's right. That's
And
right.
then God will provide and you will make lots of money by doing good.
Here. And I hope I continue to practice as an attorney for many years. I'm in my mid-60s now, and so many of my friends, my hockey buddies in other professions, we sit around and we go around, so how long till you retire? How long? And I say, I have no retirement plan. He said, what do you mean you have no? I said, what would I do with myself?
Yeah.
I have this very comfortable office. I bring my dog to work every day.
Chance, you're working
this-
too hard today.
In the winter, I come in, this fireplace is going from first thing in the morning till after I leave at night. I have a,
And against your wishes, I took your sign and put
well,
it there.
this is an old sign.
He said, oh my gosh, what are you doing?
I was once on my own for a very short period of time. Now the firm is Weiner, Spivey and Miller. I have two wonderful partners who, by the way, I have to give credit. I could never have been president of the bar without their support because they really did cover me and take care of the clients because there was so much travel involved. It would have been, in fact, the bar gave my partners an award for their support during
Wow.
my year as president.
That was
So
nice.
it's truly a team effort. I got, as president of the bar, I got to attend conventions where I was the only lawyer in the room. Everybody else in the room was a judge, but I was invited as president of the bar. And I got to hear judges tell stories, how heartbreaking it was for them when they had, it's called pro se people who could not afford an attorney, so they have to represent themselves, come before this judge with a perfectly valid claim that morally they deserved to win. They deserved some relief from the law, be it compensation, be it restraining order against someone else. And the judge had to find against them because they missed a technicality in the law. Their case had to fail. They filed the wrong document. They didn't include this verbiage that the law said had to be in there. That left such an impression on me. The need for legal aid and the good that it does in this country. Again, law-abiding people who just need a lawyer to help them navigate our complicated legal system. My wife and I, 20 years ago, helped start with the Fairfax Law Foundation, Jazz for Justice.
I was going to ask you.
It is a wonderful program. It started here at George Mason, and we partnered jazz musicians at the school. We put on a concert. We used the beautiful facility at George Mason University, and the Law Foundation and Legal Aid sells tickets. We raise sponsorships. This idea has caught on, and now we are doing it in 12 locations throughout the state of Virginia. Something
Wow.
I'm profoundly proud of, and I hope to take it nationwide because every place needs more help for their legal aid associations in their districts. The other thing we do as a community service on a yearly basis, my last name is Weiner.
Ah.
It has never opened any doors for me, very frankly, but every year we have a Weiner roast.
Yep.
It's here in our parking lot. We now, in the last few years, we have almost 1,000 people, and it's a community event, and we really celebrate the rule of law. Everyone needs to be aware of the rule of law, and we do it on May 1st, which is a actual legal holiday signed into effect by President Eisenhower. And it's been very touching lately, because Eisenhower, back in the 50s, looked over to Russia, and Russia celebrates May 1st, May Day. They celebrate by literally celebrating their armaments and their weaponry and the power of their army. And Eisenhower, who was a general, said, that's not what we in America are about. We derive our greatness from the rule of law. We are going to celebrate our laws. It never really caught on. We are trying to bring it back here, and it's a wonderful, fun event, and we make it fun. We have all kinds of music. Again, the George Mason Jazz Ensemble helps out. They entertain. We have Irish dancers. We have shoe shine people come. We have a man who donates his time and rolls cigars for the cigar smoking crowd.
Wow.
Face painters, cotton candy. So it's a great opportunity to celebrate the rule of law and really what America derives its greatness from.
And you've been doing that for 20
And
years.
we have been doing 20 years. So
Wow.
that seems to be growing. And now,
So everybody's invited May 1st
May
to the Weiner
1st
roast.
on Judicial Drive, and other jurisdictions have started doing this. I know they've started doing a Law Day festivity in Harrisonburg and in Richmond with the same type of theme. And they still call it a Weiner roast.
Aw, that's great because of you.
Well, I think I had a small part in it.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow. Chance, did you wake up?
Not really. He heard hot dogs. Well, thank you so much for spending this time and letting me speak to these young students and people who even remotely think about the practice of law as an avocation. It is a wonderful thing to do in life, and I would encourage everybody. It is not what you see on TV. We are not a bunch of sharks. Don't tell me lawyer jokes. I do not appreciate them because I know that most lawyers are good, hardworking, honest people who are there to help, whatever the field, engineering, art, contracts, real estate, divorce. Lawyers are good folks.
They really do.
And that's why, people take it out of context, that Shakespeare quote, first thing, kill all the lawyers.
Huh.
Shakespeare said that, but he said it in the context that if you want anarchy, if you want to take over the government, if you want there to be no law, the first thing you have to do is kill the lawyers. Well, of course, some wise guy thought that was very funny, and I've seen it on t-shirts, ashtrays, but know what it really means, that if you want anarchy, the first thing you'd have to do is kill the lawyers, because we are the protectors of people's rights.
Wow. Thank you
So-
so much.
Marianne, thank you. It's always great to see you, and you do good in our community by this show.
Thank
So
you.
thank you.
I'm hoping you changed a few lives. If you could change just one today.
Here, here.
Yes. Yes. So
Thank
thank you. And to all of you
Thank
thinking
you.
about becoming an attorney, I hope you become an attorney like Ed, not like the ones you see on TV.
Here, here.
So good luck in law school, and we'll see you at Weiner Roast. May
Work
1st.
hard.
Yes.